If you spend any time lurking hi-fi threads on Reddit, or for you old school guys, Audio Karma, you've probably heard about Koss, and you've probably heard about the Koss KSC75. They're an amazing sounding headphone. They're weird though. They're these clip thingies. They don't have a headphone band. Some people love that. I'm not one of them. But what if I told you you could convert this $15 headphone that sounds amazing, but is cheaply built and attaches to your ears in a weird way, into something that feels a lot more premium and still sounds amazing? So you can actually do this mod with a number of the Koss lineup, the Porta Pro, KPH 40s. I believe there's some others in the lineup that would work. But I found that not only does the KSC75 function the best with this kit, I happen to just love the sound of these headphones the most out of the lineup. What you're going to need is a $30 kit from AliExpress. And I'm sure there's other places, but that is where I found it to be the cheapest and most readily available. And they market it as specifically for modding Koss headphones. Now, I have seen on good old Reddit, the bastion of truth that it is, that doing this mod will affect the sound of the KSC75. And I found that to only be the case if you stick with the pads that come with the mod kit. If you find on Amazon these Geekria pads that are meant for Grado SR headphones, they're the ones with the hole, and they're quite thin around the hole, that it gets the driver quite close to your ears, and I found that the sound is nearly identical to the original sound. The only real tool you'll need to do this mod is a soldering iron and the ability to solder. Outside of that, it's pretty easy. They even include the Allen key to attach the cups to the dingus. What is this? Yoke. And outside of that, you're going to be mostly just prying things apart with your fingers and stuffing them where they go. But if you can solder, this is a fairly easy mod. Without further ado, let's cut to the chase. In case that stupid camera thing didn't work, I just cut these wires. And you can pry these ear clip-a-majigs off. Save those for Christmas present for someone you hate. We won't be needing the original pads. I lied, you will need one other tool, a pair of wire strippers, or something to get the housing off. You might be able to use a pocket knife or even a lighter. There's the red for right. And there's the green for left. Let's look at what's included in the kit. There's the headband, the yokes, and the sliding adjustment for height, and the hardware to attach the yokes to the cups, the jacks, the little Allen key I was telling you about, and these front grills. You actually don't want these because these will just push the drivers even further away from your ears. So we'll get rid of those. The cups themselves, they have the back grill to kind of cover things up. And then they're three parts. There's the front, the middle housing section, and the back with the grill. And I almost forgot these. You'll need these. They're retaining rings that hold the KSC75s perfectly in place. Another tool you'll need, and no, I'm not a compulsive liar, is some kind of blade because you're going to want to shave down. I don't know if you can see that. You want to shave down just the edge of the jack on the side where the two prongs are. Create kind of a chamfer. You'll use that so that it can act as a wedge against the headphone. As you tighten this in, it'll push the headphone further down. Okay, so to fit this in, we'll want to put the front, I guess, pad retaining ring back on. And the nice thing about the hole for the jack is it's threaded. So normally you'd put the jack through that hole, and then you would put this washer on and tighten that down. Because this is threaded, we don't need to do that. And we can actually use this as a spacer, which kind of leaves a nice, clean, recessed look. And I just think it fits a little better. So we'll put the jack in. And we'll leave it a little bit loose because, like I said, we're going to use that chamfer we cut as a wedge. And you want to make sure that the Koss retaining ring is in. And you'll want the totally flat side down. Just joking, you can't do that from that direction. To have this off, this in, and then screw back on. And it'll seem loose in there until we get the Koss headphone in. So now you'll want the wire up, away from the jack. And we'll push that in, and it should just fit just under the jack. And then when we tighten the jack, that wedge will press the jack even closer to the Koss headphone, and it'll be a nice solid fit. And so you could use a pair of pliers to make sure you have that really tight in there. You don't want to go so far as to make your poles that you're going to solder on here at an angle you can't get to them. So be aware of that when you're cutting your angle. But now we can just solder. And I'll shorten this so that it's neater. But we can, so this is the red, the right. And this jack's actually upside down now. So the left pole over here would be the right. And then because this acts like a single pole, the headphone cable you use on these, either the long bit or the other pole there, either one of those can act as the ground. But you'll want to put the red wire to the left in this orientation, and then the ground to either of these. So one thing I want to mention is before you cut that chamfer on the jack, test fit it, because obviously the jack hole in the frame. So the jack hole in the frame is eyeballed in China or wherever it's drilled, because this one is not a tight fit. There's even a little bit of play. So if you end up with that, you may end up needing to add a little glue in here, epoxy or something, to make sure that this is not wobbling around in there, which I've seen other people have to do that. I got lucky on the last time I built it where they were both tight. This one's nice and tight, and the chamfer trick, the wedge trick worked. Not going to work as nicely on this one. So just be aware of that before. Even if you have already cut the chamfer on this, you can just rotate it to where you're away from that. But just be something to be aware of. Test fit first. All right, now we can do some soldering. Now, this isn't going to be a soldering tutorial video because A, I'm not an expert at it, and B, there's lots of resources on YouTube to see how to do that. What I've done is I've pre-tinned my leads and I've pre-tinned the jack. So should be able to just heat them up. The red side is going to go to the left pole here because Remember I said that this is upside down now. So when the long ground is facing up, this jack's technically upside down. So on my other one, it's facing the other way. So the left will go to the left. On this one, the right will go to the left, but it's actually the right. So see if we can make this look as awkward as possible on camera. Okay, have both sides soldered, the red to the right and the ground to the left side. So we should be able to just repeat the process for the left one, and then we'll start assembling. Okay, I got the other side soldered up, and I did go ahead and epoxy both of these. And then this was the loose one, and the epoxy, it's not wiggling at all. I think it's a strong hold, just between the Koss and that retaining ring. Just a little bit of epoxy in there seemed to do a good job. So just know that if you get this kit and the holes are not drilled in a spot that you can use the jack as a wedge against the Koss, that epoxy works just fine. So next we're gonna attach the yokes, and it comes with these O-rings to fit between the cup frame and the yoke, so that this movement, the articulation, is not too loose. And it's fine. It's what I have on the first ones I built, but when they tighten down, the O-rings kind of squish out in a way it doesn't look great. So I'm gonna try these rubber washers. I don't know if that'll look any better, but I'm gonna try them on this build. So it's pretty self-explanatory. The yokes go on the outside, the screw, the O-ring. Well, that's the jack hole. The what? And then the nut on the inside of the cup right there. And so you'll just do that for 4 times, and then you'll have the yokes assembled. Have the yokes attached, and so next I'm going to put the back grills on, and these just float in here until they get tightened down. So you kind of have to fuss with getting this line straight. I'm not sure why they added that, maybe so that people could laser branding or something on it. But when you start screwing it on, it wants to just go wherever. And so by the time you tighten it, it may or may not be straight. So you just kind of have to hold it in place while you tighten down, and then kind of get the right, just the right spot when you tighten it down. And so you'll do that on both sides. I think it's easier to put the pads on now while the cups are not on the headband. So go ahead and do that. These are the Grado pads. All right, now it's just the headband. So they're marked right and left. So you'll need to remember which one was your right and your left, and you should be able to see through the grill the wire color. And that's green, so this is the left. And you may already have this not screwed on, but this is that little retaining cap. So you'll put this on the left side, put the retaining cap on. All right, now if you actually want to listen to these puppies, you're going to need a split 3.5 millimeter headphone cable. This is the one that the same seller on Etsy had as an option to include. I think it was $15. I think it's really nice quality for $15. So that's an option. There's lots of them on Amazon and obviously any kind of like hi-fi audio supply places. But you'll just attach these and you'll be ready to listen to these. And like I said, I think with these pads, they have the original sound, that Koss sound, but just much more enjoyable, tactile, heavy, premium feeling setup than the ear clip-a-doos. I really enjoy this setup. These have actually been some of my most favorite headphones I have, and I have nice headphones from Hi-Fi Man and Sennheiser, and honestly, I go for these most often. I just really love them. I think it's worth doing this mod, unless you love the clip-a-doos. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.